time it is, right? It's time to roll, man. You got me on hoping to go with this. You know what I'm talking about?
First BSC interview.
Oh, I feel special now. Shit.
Yeah, you are, man. You really inspired me. Really glad I met you.
Hey, bro. Likewise.
Really cool trick selections, really cool ideas, really cool graphic talent.
I grew up in like I guess an eclectic household. Like, it's kind of funny, but my mom is mixed, and she didn't really like stay on one side of the fence with it. You know what I'm saying? So she would go to Freaknik, but then she would also listen to Smashing Pumpkins. You know what I'm saying? So like, It came from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you grow up, you see album covers in the house, you see whatever. But I was always into like drawing and cartoons and stuff. So it just kind of all came from all that. You know what I'm saying? Really. Yeah. And my dad, like, he's a musician too. So like, my aunt was rapping back, like, art everywhere basically all the time. So
yeah, what would you say? We've been friends like a year and a half, almost 2, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I remember. Before I met you, I just like randomly see you.
Yeah.
Like every part, and like
Chapel Hill a couple times.
Hell yeah, you were just everywhere. I had to figure out what you were up to.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about pushing your board brand, and at first, you know, it was kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a new guy here doing something black, you know, I'm loving that. At the same time, you know, I'm like trying to lead my community, find the people for the BSC. So I was like, okay, like I'll keep an eye out for this guy.
Yeah.
And I just kept seeing you everywhere I went.
It was a point to just be everywhere I could be, really, because like, especially wanting to do something in a place I'm not from, like, you really got to prove yourself and like let people know I'm here for the community. I'm not just doing this to like for image, clout, whatever it is. So it was like really important to like touch base with everybody, go to shops, whatever it is. So
I really felt that too, because like you were really, I got the sense you were really serious about it.
Yeah.
I've kind of learned that people don't really take people seriously until they have like some kind of product, and like you were making that product.
Yeah.
You were making it happen. You know, I saw you were doing the work, meeting the people, trying to figure it out. You know, you went through a couple different board companies.
Yeah.
You know, at first, like, it was a little weird. But then, like, where are you at right now?
Shapes Skateboards.
Shapes?
Out of Florida, yeah.
I think once you found them, like, as soon as I hopped on that board.
Yeah. It's quality. Yeah, which is clutch wood, just for people, so they know.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does the board industry work?
I'm really still figuring that out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at the base level is just really just do what you want to do until something works, you know what I'm saying, and sticks. But the industry is like, it's in chaos right now, low-key, so it's really just trying to find your niche, like your little pocket to operate in, and like I said, touch community, you know what I'm saying, and like build from the ground up as best as you can. If you try to do too much too fast, it's like you could really blow it, you know what I'm saying, and like also look kind of kooky at the same time. So yeah.
So how'd you get connected with skateboarding?
With skateboarding?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had like this white homie when I was in like 7th grade or something like that. Me and him like traded bikes. I like randomly met him in my apartment complex. And he had like an alternative look to him, you know what I'm saying? Spiky hair, yada, yada, yada. And he would skateboard around the complex, and I just got on his board one day and I was like, damn, this shit is kind of tight. And then me and another homie stole a skateboard so that I could have one to ride, because he had one. From there, it was up. Like, I just, you know, was really locked in. I was probably like 14 at the time, so that was like 2000 and I'm gonna really age myself, like 2003 or something like that. And then playing Tony Hawk, you know what I'm saying? You get locked into that, like.
Who was skating around that time? Like, as you were getting into it, like, who were you seeing? Who like, where were people pointing you at to like look at skateboarding?
Bro, I didn't have like real. Besides the Tony Hawk game, I had no reference for what skateboarding really was until like 3 years in, and I moved to a bigger city where like there was a real skate scene. They had a skate park. They had, you know, some pros would come through. And I mean, in Bama, that wasn't really like happening like that, but the New York team would come through, or whatever, you know, Zero. We had a shop like 30 minutes away that had been there for like 25 years. Shouts out Faith Skate Supply. And they were locked in. Like Jamie Thomas rode for them, Ben Gilly rode for them, if you know who he is. James Hardy, RIP, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had some dudes. So, like, it really wasn't until then that I really was like, oh, like, skate videos. Like, I didn't see a skate video for like 2 years. The only thing I knew was what was, again, in the Tony Hawk game, like, you see Kareem Campbell in a 30-second edit or something like that. So I had no framework. And really, sometimes I feel like that kind of stunted me a little bit. Like, I feel like I could have done a lot more and just on the skateboard and off the skateboard if I had known more earlier. But, you know, it's part of the journey. So
I think I probably started around 12. And it was just the same for me. Like, I had this one group of white boys, so I had to figure out how to skate too.
Yeah.
And like, you know, at my time, skateboarding is like just a white thing.
Bro, I mean, think about this. I'm like several years ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas would press me in the hallway at school for skateboarding and call me gay and yada. I'm like, bro, like, I mean, really at that time, like, if you were into anything, if you weren't in like a real city, like if I had been up here, it'd probably been chill. But like being in Bama, especially, like, race is so like divisive down there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anything that you do that again is viewed as like the other side of the fence, they gonna clown you for it, yada yada. Like, they're all focused on being hood as fuck. You know, being the hardest nigga ever. Like, you can't really. I had like no friends for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's kind of weird. Like, the only motherfuckers that would fuck with me was the white folks, really. So I mean, like, all right, you know what I'm saying? One or two niggas here or there, but nobody that was like really skating like that. So I don't know. Like, in my area as a total, we had 3 main schools, and all of them kind of hit different demographics. So ours was like rich white kids and poor black folks, and then the other one would be like middle class black folks and poor white kids, and then, you know, yada yada yada. So kind of weird. But I rode the bus with these 2 brothers and this other homie. I mean, they were all white, you know what I'm saying? And when I first moved to I moved from Fort Payne, Alabama to Tuscaloosa, Alabama in high school. And Tuscaloosa is a little bit bigger, you know what I'm saying? University of Alabama's there, so there's culture there of some sort, football mostly. But first day on the bus, I saw a dude with some Vans on. I was like, yo, you skate? I could barely even like ride a skateboard at that point, but I was still like, yo, you skate? I skate too, yada yada. And they could kickflip and, you know, they could do stuff. But they just like accepted me, like, I mean, you know, within reason. Like, at that point in time, like, the culture was different. People would joke differently, and so I was catching a little bit of the racism, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was like, we just high schoolers being high schoolers type shit. So I wasn't really pressed on it, but looking back, there was moments I felt kind of alone in that. But I mean, you know, it is what it is, I guess. You get thick skin through that. So earlier on, it made me have like a kind of chip on my shoulder. Like, I had to be really on my shit to like kick it with people. And I don't know. I think that kind of set me up to like, I got pretty decent at one point. You know, rode for a shot, rode for a brand, yada yada. But I was still always kind of like I was kind of over here with it, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was always trying to prove myself. So even like now, like I said, when I came here, like, you know I got to prove myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that made it to where when people didn't immediately rock with me, I wasn't offended by it, you know what I'm saying? I just understood what was going on. So it helped and it hurt, but it is what it is.
When you say you were riding for the shop, what was that kind of demographic like?
All white folks, really. I mean, like, we had like my OG at the time, kind of like the dude who was like really, he was Hispanic, you know what I'm saying? So another brown person, you know, like, we stuck together for real. He really took me under his wing. He'd give me shoes and, you know, boards and shit like that. So now that's why I do the same stuff, you know what I'm saying? I see a homie needs whatever, I'll bless him up. But you know, it's a lot of like, especially too, because the way I skated, like, I wanted to do like the inner city type shit, you know what I'm saying? Love Park, yada yada. And they were like rail, zero, you know what I'm saying? Heavy metal, not that I didn't fuck with that, but like, you know, like, I was looking for something different, but we didn't really have access to that at the same time. So, you know, just I always try to do it my own way to whatever, you know, that benefits or deters or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it worked out, you know, in some way.
How like long into your skateboarding journey was it until you like met your first black skateboarder?
Really not very long. There was another dude, well, actually, fun story, when I started skating, I've been skating like a week. So you didn't really skating, you just on a skateboard. But there was this dude in the apartment complex, an older black dude who like, he got off work and he was like, oh, let me see y'all's board. And I remember to this day, he did a popped ass half cab. And I was like, yo, what was that? And I think for a second, I thought you were supposed to ride, you were like supposed to push Mongo because of that. Because I saw him do it, but His name was Chris. I remember him. That was like one of 2 times I ever saw him in my life, even though we lived in the same place. But really, like immediately, for real, kind of crazy. But actually, skating with somebody, it was probably like not until I moved to the city. There was a dude. I don't even remember his name, but he was from like DC or something like that. I don't even know. And he would come down and kick it. We would skate. There was another dude. He was like Mormon though, so he couldn't really kick it like that, but he'd be out occasionally. Or Jehovah's Witness, something like that. But he was around. He was hella good, but his parents would let him skate. So they were out there. Started skating like my freshman year of high school, basically, something like that.
Okay. Went to college. Where'd you go?
I went to a named after a notoriously racist individual, George Wallace in Alabama. I went to George Wallace Community College for graphic design. At that time, though, I was like so focused on music too that like I was barely even going to class. I just sit in my room and make beats, like on some Kanye shit, really. I wasn't really focused, and I was skating a little bit, but by that time, I was also not skating that much because I was like out in the boonies with it, out in the woods type shit for real, like away from all my friends and stuff. So I just be in my dorm all day. But yeah, I went to school.
So you had an artist name, you know, you were dropping beats.
Yeah, I was making beats. I was doing shows and stuff. Like you asked me before if I'd ever done an interview. Like I was really doing music for real. Like I was trying to make that a career. Then I just kind of like I got burnt out on it, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for a good like 10 years, I was doing like music heavy. Yeah. From like age 20 to like age probably like 32 or something like that. And I'm 35 now, about to turn 36. So yeah, good 12, 13 years, something like that.
So and like you're still skateboarding through all that?
Yeah, here and there. Yeah, not as much. Because I was also like really locked into my job at that time. Now I work from home, so I have more flexibility. But at that point, I was working like a dog, like 12 to 18 hours a day, type, like crazy shit. But so it wasn't really much time to, but you know, I get it how it could.
So how do you think, or like what might have been going on around that time that influenced that transition to like to what you're doing right now?
Well, I guess from the music standpoint, like I was always like self-promoting and, you know what I'm saying, really like trying to do it DIY and trying to get it out the mud, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, doing my own graphic design, you know, since I went to school for it, it made sense, but, you know, getting better through that. I don't know, just being like really locked into, because I mean, skateboarding and music is like, that's connected culture, you know what I'm saying, so like, I go to shows and there'd be skateboarders there that I knew, or like skate events, they want music, yada, 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 so I was always really like right there with it. And I would even try to put on like fundraisers because we were trying to get a skate park at the time. So I tried to set up like a fundraiser show for the skate park or something like that. But I mean, you know, I really don't feel like I ever stopped being a skateboarder. I just wasn't skating as much. So I don't know. It's always just really been there.
So how were the parks?
Bro, there really wasn't. We had one park that was like some prefab stuff. It was like metal ramps. But that got shut down like early in my skating because I guess like a skateboarder fought a cop or something like that, something crazy, something stupid. So they ripped that up, and then there was a church that built a skate park in it. That was there for a little while. They actually had the ramps from that park in that church. So that was there for a few years. So that's where I was really locked in at. I became like a skate park rat, and I was like scared to skate street for a while, lucky. And then literally right before I moved here, after waiting like 13 years, we finally got one of the biggest skate parks in America in Birmingham. I got to skate it for a month. They opened on my birthday and then I left. So, yeah, not much.
That's a pretty good birthday gift though.
It's not too bad, yeah.
Have you been there recently?
I haven't been back since the summer, I think.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they changed the hours. So when I pulled up, I got like 30 minutes there. I was bummed out. But
What are the hours there?
I don't even know. It's like 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. or something crazy. Like, and it has lights too. So I don't understand, but whatever.
You definitely gotta make that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, like, how are the parks here, like, compared to where you come from?
I mean, really, like, living here this long now, I'd be kind of like, man, I don't want to skate this part. This part boring. But, like, really, I'm so thankful that I even have this because, like, in Bama, it didn't exist, really. Like, you had to go 2 hours to skate a good park at the least. So, I mean, you know, really, this is a blessing for real. Like, I can't even be fronting on this. Like, that's why we here most nights skating. So, I mean, you know, it's a little outdated, but it's fine. You know, I get down with it, skate the ledge, whatever. But really, it was about the DIYs in Bama. Like, we would post up. There was a place called the Dojo. It was like at an abandoned warehouse of some sort, like outside. We used to skate that a good bit. There was a place called the Shoe Factory that was really popular for a while. A lot of that, like the DIY nature of Bama is like, that's really part of the culture there. Even still, with the park that they have, still a lot of people still skate this DIY on a tennis court. So it's like, you know, my favorite park is here. That's a good question. I really don't know. I barely really skate anything there, but Chapel Hill, just the vibe is so nice. I don't know, like surrounded by trees. Not that this ain't, but like you really feel tucked off and in your own zone. There's nobody really up there ever being kooky and weird for real. Like you'll come out here and you might find somebody like, what is he on? But Chapel Hill, like real skaters be out there, if anybody is out there at all. What's your favorite park out here?
I want to say Chapel Hill too, but like, I think I just like my look.
Yeah.
Like, wherever I stay at, I think I just like that one.
Yeah. Well, Kilbourne might be my favorite, but that's a DIY. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I guess, I kind of even wasn't even thinking like that far.
Yeah. You been in the Foundation in Asheville?
Maybe Mooresville.
Yeah.
If I could do more stuff there.
That's how I feel. I feel really limited when I go there. I'm like, damn, like this park is tight, but I'm gonna still skate a ledge, whatever, like.
Where does Pleasure Please start?
Where does it start? Well, a lot of people don't know this, but like, if it wasn't for the game Skater XL, I would not be doing this right now.
Okay.
Like, so during the pandemic, I discovered Skater XL, and I realized that online there was a lot of people like making fake skate brands and like designs, clothing, yada yada yada, etc. And there was like a big community behind this. They would have like Instagram accounts and like Discord, like all this stuff. So I was like, okay. Because, like, I hadn't been able to skate up to that point for real. That really drew me back in. I think I had skated in, like, a year or something. And then, like, one day I was like, okay, this game really got me juiced, so I'm going to go back outside with it. But I just started, like, making my own brands and, like, just brainstorming ideas. Because I always, like, even back to, like, EA Skate, like, you could make your own skate team. And, like, I would get really into that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would sit on there and just build parks all day, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was the kind of stuff I was into. So just always something creative with it. But I mean, the Pleasure Please thing really kicked off in like probably like 2023, the beginning of 2023. I had the idea one day. I was like just sitting at the house feeling kind of frustrated, really low key, and like started thinking about like, damn, like can the universe just give me something good, you know what I'm saying? And then like Pleasure Please popped in my head. I was like, can I get some Pleasure Please, you know what I'm saying? Like just that kind of idea. So I was really sitting on it for a minute. Then I started like kind of messing with concepts and ideas. And the community in Skater XL really like was like, oh shit, this is fire, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I started thinking like, if I really tried to put this out in the world, people might really fuck with it. And from there, it's really been, it's been proven that people really like it. So yeah, I always wonder what was your first like when you see Pleasure Please, what was your first interpretation of it? So I feel like most people like when you hear the word pleasure, you think of like sex. Generally, the first thing that comes to your mind. But like I wasn't even in that space with it.
Yeah,
so.
no, I don't think it was that. I feel like my first real like run-in with it was the Instagram.
Yeah.
And you follow me, and like there wasn't any posts yet.
Yeah. You were our first post, I think.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, second one, I think maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I was just like, what is this?
Yeah, we was doing story posts up to that point.
Yeah, and then I was just like, okay, like show me something.
Yeah.
And then, you made your first post, and then I was like, okay, this is a board brand.
Yeah.
And then I had to connect it to you.
That's what I was gonna ask, is if you knew if it was like black owned or what at the time.
No. It wasn't until like you started talking about boards and you showed me one. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, like that makes sense now.
Yeah.
And then Yeah, I was just waiting to see what you were gonna do.
Yeah.
I also, kind of new to this area. I didn't grow up here, but my family's from here.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've been here on and off, but, like, I've been living here for the past, like, 5 years now.
Yeah.
And, I know a lot of people, but, like, I don't really know anybody.
Yeah. That's the thing I was surprised, like, when I first saw you, I really thought you were, like, hella plugged into the Durham scene, and then I kind of started realizing, like, you were low-key kind of on your own for real, like, well, not on your, like, you knew everybody, but you would do your own thing, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of have a thing about, like, because people ask me, why I don't try to, like, get on things.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, I just don't feel like that. I don't really have, like, a certain connection.
Yeah.
With people. Like, you really kind of, like, made that connection.
Word, yeah.
And, I just...
Yeah. One day, I was out eating, and Kane called me. And he was talking for a minute, and I was listening to him, and then, like, he was like, bro, I just want to thank you, what I'm saying, for doing what you're doing, especially, like, for black skaters in North Carolina, yada, yada. And he was like, he was like, you really doing some good shit, and you know that because me and Pearly fuck with you. And me and Pearly don't fuck with nobody. And I was like, damn, all right, bet.
Yeah, I'm real happy I met Kane, too.
Yeah.
Because that was, I feel like, I've really been practicing cleaning myself up, with doing this BSC stuff, and trying to figure out who people were.
Yeah.
And, really talk to people.
It can be kind of eye-opening, like, really finding out who somebody is through some shit sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, but, yeah. This has kind of been one of the most, like, gratifying things I feel like I've ever done in my life, which, I don't know if that's gonna sound sad to somebody or, like, hype as fuck to another person, but, like, I don't know. I've always been very, like, ever since I was young, I've always been into, like, group energy, you know what I'm saying? And, like, really, like, finding people to tap in with and do stuff, like, shit, even when I was, like, 7 years old, I was already rapping because I was, like, around music, and I had, like, 2 homies that I was with in my neighborhood, like, we were, like, 7, 9, and 10 respectively or something. We was rapping to get, like, so I always find my way into a group and try to find a way to, like, flourish through that. And I really feel like this group of people, like, some days we'll be out skating, I'll just, like, sit back and, like, damn, this is tight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciate all these people for, like, being on board with this, like, literally and figuratively, and just, like, wanting to contribute their time and energy to it, because, like, you really don't got to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Really glad you gave me your time tonight. I think we still got a couple, maybe an hour left.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Thank you. Yes, sir. BSC, baby.
First BSC interview.
Yes, sir.
Everybody.
It's all good.
Thank you, sir.